Hello and welcome, guys. This is Nidhi, your host for the day. I hope you are doing great and staying safe in these testing times. Welcome to this amazing workshop with Ingrid, where she's going to give us a live tutorial for watercolor lettering. Today's event is brought to you by Print Shop by Designhill, which is a creative print on demand marketplace where you can discover and buy 50 plus unique products, gifts, and artworks created by artists around the world. Moving ahead, we have with us Ingrid Rivera, and let me introduce her for you. Ingrid has always been fascinated by letter styles, what they look like, and what they represent. She liked to imitate the letters she saw on diplomas and certificates, and that interest in letters that she cultivated during her adolescence developed when she began to calligraphy work. Love for calligraphy and the business experience that she has had in recent years as a business owner with her husband led her to create her own company called Be Creative by Ingrid, through which she is dedicated to offering workshops of watercolor and lettering. In 2020, she made a collaboration with Zebra Pen USA in the Zebra Miles Liners Highlighters campaign through their social media. Outside of the artistic environment, Ingrid was a leader of the Boy Scouts of America for the past 12 years, where she held various positions in her unit and district as Advancement Committee Director and Assistant Scoutmaster. So happy to have you, Ingrid. Please say hi to the audiences and tell us a bit more about yourself. You need to unmute yourself.
Good morning now. Okay. Hello, everybody. Well, good morning from Puerto Rico. It's 9 a.m. here in Puerto Rico. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, my name is Ingrid Rivera, and I'm a modern calligraphy artist, lettering artist, based in Puerto Rico. And this is my very first international workshop, and I'm so nervous and I'm so excited. And uh, um, so I don't know what to say. Yes, I'm from Puerto Rico. If you don't know Puerto Rico is located in the Caribbean, a very warm island. And I've been doing calligraphy, traditional calligraphy for, since I remember from my teenage years. And a couple of years ago, as I say, I discovered this work of lettering, and I just fall in love again with the calligraphy, but in a modern way, using brush markers and other kind of tools. So since then, I create my own business, Be Creative by Ingrid, and I'm started to offer workshops right now online, of course, because of the COVID. But I started to offer them here close to my hometown in Cabo Rojo. It's at the west side of the island. And I started to offering them also another close to the capital San Juan. So COVID, affect us, wide world. So I started to offering last year. I created my webpage, my YouTube channel, and since then this is a new whole way for me to be close to all of my followers. If you don't follow me, I am in Instagram and in Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel. It's very new. I'm learning a lot of about a lot of applications. I create my own web page, so you can subscribe right now. All of my media are in Spanish, so some terminology in English, Spanish, and English, but it's okay. It's very friendly. And I am starting to include more videos, more tutorials, and more do-it-yourself stuff. So recently, I am just finishing one of my goals since I started to do lettering workshops is to create my own kit of lettering. So do it yourself. So I hope this next week I can, do the launch of this new project for me. It's in Spanish at the moment. So, but I think after this workshop in English, so probably I will think about to start to doing more often more in English tutorials, workshops, and
Amazing.
more content in my social media in English. So I'm very excited to be here. Today we are going to make watercolor lettering, a beautiful phrase, okay? Short phrase because we don't have a lot of times and I want to answer all your questions. And thanks, Designhill, for the invitation, and all of you are that are connected. I am seeing some of my followers there. I'm so grateful and so happy to be here. So I'm so ready to start. Um,
Amazing. So
okay.
before we start, it's amazing to have you here with us, Ingrid. Before we start, I have a couple of announcements to make. We are
Okay.
giving away certificates to the attendees who would stick till the end of the session. So
Good.
guys, please just do not miss on this chance. So stay tuned till the end. Also, you can take a screenshot of this event, put it on your Instagram story, and tag Designhill DH, Typography Designers Club, and be creative by Ingrid. That is Ingrid's Instagram handle. One lucky winner have a chance to win a PS print shop gift card worth $50. Along with that, as a gesture of appreciation that you could join us for this event, we have some special offers for you lined up. Keep an eye on our chat section to get your offer. Having said that, let's quickly look at what a print shop by Designhill is all about. All right, Ingrid. That was all about print shop, and now we are all set to start the session. Guys, if you have anything that you would like to ask Ingrid, then please put them under the questions tab. We have rolled out a few, we will also roll out a few polls in the poll section. So also do not forget to answer them. Ingrid, let's begin with this session. Over to you. You need to please unmute yourself and
Okay, let me mute this other one. Okay, now. So before we're going to start, it's very important for you to prepare of your materials. As you see in the description of the workshop, we are going to make a beautiful short quote in bounce lettering.
okay.
Okay, so
Ingrid, sorry.
yes.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. But the voice is echoing. Can you please switch off your iPad's voice and switch on your cameras, computer cameras voice?
Okay, better.
You need to unmute yourself. So the screen that you are on from your computer, you need to switch. You have to unmute yourself from that screen.
Now?
Yes, and please,
Okay.
yes,
All
it's
right,
much
better.
better now.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So for today's workshop tutorial, we are going to use, as in the description of the materials you're going to need, I'm going to use brush pens, water-based brush pens. Right now I have a cutting markers. These are the ones I'm going to use because they are one of my favorites because the ink is liquid and it's more easy for me to do the blending or the gradient in the watercolor paper. If you don't have cutting markers, it's okay. You can use any other brush pen that you have. Tombow is one of the main brands that you can find. If you don't have that kind of brush pens, any other marker, water-based, will work good. Crayola markers, Stedler as examples. Sharpie, and that kind of markers. Doesn't need to be brush pen to do this, but if the marker is brush pen, it will work better. It will work fine. Or if you have any fine tip markers, brush, water-based, will do also. So I have also, you're gonna need a water, this is a water brush pen or aqua brush. And I prefer to use this when I do blending in my letters because this is very fine. And always the bristles are wet because of you don't need to refill the brush in a jar. But again, if you don't have this amazing tool, you can use any regular brush that you have, but need to be fine brush, okay? Probably size 1, size 2, size 4, maybe size 6, not bigger than this, okay? So you're going to need, of course, paper and some napkin or towel paper because you need to clean the tip of your brush when you switch colors. You're going to need your eraser and your pencil. If you don't have a 3H or 2H pencil, you can use any pencil you have. But I just recommend for you just to, when you do the lines or you do the letters, please do very light, okay? Because after we finish, we're going to erase them. Right? So try not to do too much pressure. If you have a porcelain, ceramic plate, you can use it. If you don't, it's okay. I use this to mix colors if I need it. I always have one close to me. It's a very nice tool. If you don't have a plate, a plastic plate will work, not foam, please, or any plastic paper as a palette. Okay. So what else do we have? Of course, a fine liner. If you don't have a fine liner like this, you can use a regular pen, black, blue, any color that you have. Because with this, we are going to add details at the end to decorate our composition. Okay, so we're going to do some gradient. Gradient, yes. Gradient is it's a technique, it's a method. It's like an ombre effect when you pull or push some color from dark to light. Okay, so I'm going to do some samples here before we start because I want you to know a little bit more on how to do a gradient and what gradient is and how you can combine colors. Okay, and I have here, of course, for our composition, the paper we are going to use is going to be a watercolor paper. If you don't have watercolor paper, you can use mixed media paper. It will work, okay? Watercolor paper and 140 pounds or 300 grams will work better because it holds more water, okay? Cold press. And I have two different kinds of paper here. This one is Canson watercolor paper, one of my favorites. And this other paper here, I don't know if you can see the texture in this paper, that is very beautiful, is Arches. Arches paper are one of the favorite papers for watercolor artists in the world. I love this texture, but today I'm not going to use this because this is too absorbent for the work we are going to use today. Because why? We don't need an absorbent paper for today's workshop because we need to work very fast, or at least try to work fast. So it is very absorbent, it's going to dry faster. So it's not going to have much time to do or to mix the colors or to do the gradient or the blending, okay? So I'm going to do just a little sample of what I'm going to do. We are going to do a direct blending. What is a direct blending? A direct blending is when we deposit with paint direct in the paper, and then we do the gradient, as you see. Okay, I'm left hand, so it works. Okay, looks very nice, very beautiful. Do the gradient very beautiful because this ink is liquid. I'm going to use the other markers for you to see the difference. Okay? This is Tombow. Tombow is not liquid in, okay, it's not dry. The good thing about these water brush pens is because it's always wet. If you need to press a little bit here in the belly, so please don't do it in top of the paper. So do a part in a plate because you can damage your work with this single water drop. Okay. With this kind of paper from Arches that is very absorbent, we need to use more water. This is why I'm not going to use this paper today. But it's a very nice paper. You see the difference, right? This is a wet brush pen, and this is a dry brush pen. So more easier for me to do the blending and to do the gradient. Gradient is when you paint, you can use one color or you can use 2 or 3 colors the same with the same hue, and you're going to start to pull. You're going to clean your brush pen, and then you are going to keep using clean water, and then you can see like the ombre effect. You see the difference? This is a big difference. You see the lines here when I use the Tombow, and you don't see a light line when I use the cutting marker. This is why I'm going to use the cutting markers. Okay? This is the Arches paper. I'm going to do quickly right here. This is the Canson paper. You start to pull and pull and pull and pull. If you're going to pull more color, you need to start from the top. Okay. I just want you to see the difference between the two colors, between the two papers. Okay. So this is a sample of how the gradient looks in 2 different kinds of papers, even if they are the same specifications or they are very 2 different brands. Okay, paper is one of the main goal for our compositions. Everything matters, and not just the ink or the tool we are using, but the paper is have a very important. It's very important for the final composition. Not every paper works the same, even if they have the same specifications, not even brand. Okay, so we are so ready to start. I'm going to create. So, okay. I'm going to move a little bit more my camera a little bit. Sorry. Okay. Okay, we are going to start. We are going to make this phrase is very nice. It's going to say, create a life you love. Of course, because as a person and a motivator, also we want to do things that we love in life, but we are so responsible for our own lives. So, in this creative world, and as a creative artist, so we need to create a life you love. This is going to be our quote for today, all right? So, first of all, if you have a ruler, I love to always use my ruler to trace some margins. When we do some compositions, we do by hand or hand eye. So sometimes we don't use rulers. So for today's workshop, we are going to make some guide for you. I'm going to press a little bit hard for you to see them. Okay. It's like an inch from each side of the paper. This is a 9 by 11 paper. I prefer these kind of rulers, but this is the square ruler. I love it. And trace, because we want to look our face very balanced in the center. We don't want one word in the top, and it's like when you have a frame and wall and you see it's not balanced. So this happens when we create phrases or words. So even if you don't have any specific rule in lettering, we want to see our letters very balanced. At least all we can do. Balance. Right. When we do lettering, I used to do my phrase with I always trace with my pencil first. Why? Why I recommend for you to trace first, because you don't want to mess. You don't want to um, waste too much paper. It's more easy for you to see the composition. You know what is the damage? You save time. Okay. So create. I'm going to move a little bit higher my camera. So for you to see a little bit more. Okay. Create. We're going to make create a life you love. I'm going to trace a little bit harder. If you don't know how to do brush lettering or lettering, it's okay. You can do your own words. Love. This is a guide, right? Now I'm going to use a brush pen. I'm going to use this very light gray brush pen. If you don't have gray, you can use any other um, pink maybe, or so light, very light. And we are going to trace it. Now we are going to use the technique I use in my brush lettering workshops, the lettering I used to do in my social media. Because this is the guide I'm going to use at the time I'm going to paint. Great. When you do brush lettering, the downstrokes are bold or thick, and the upstrokes are thin. So you barely use any pressure when you are doing your upstrokes. I'm a left-handed artist. It took me time to learn the technique of doing this kind of letters. I don't know how, probably month. I don't think a year, probably 3 to 4 months took me to realize and to work very nice the technique, that I can see the letter is very clean and all these angles are very smooth. I practice my lettering almost every day. Okay. Okay, now we trace our phrase, create a life you love. I just add a little bit of flourish, the splash here. And in the create, I just expand a little bit the bar of the tree because I want to cover this space. Also here, other spaces, the negative spaces, we are going to add at the end some doodles as a decoration. So we are ready to start. What colors I'm going to use? I'm going to use 3 colors. I'm going to use pink. This is like galactic colors. Purple. And I think I'm going to use this teal, yes, turquoise color from Calligraphy. I'm going to have ready my paper towel close to me because we are going to clean my brush bit. Okay, so let's get ready. With I can erase through the brush pen mark. Probably not these dark lines, but you can do that. You can do here, you can do now or at the end. I prefer to do now because I don't want to see these lines through my colors. I can do that with combo dual brush. I don't know if I can erase through other kind of brush pens. If you can do that through other brush pens, feel free to share. This is why I use them, because I can erase. They're so light, so translucent. I mean, this marker the gray color, so I can erase my lines. Okay. Now, this is going to be my three colors and my brush. When it's ready, what we're going to do, we are going to start to color letter by letter. We are going to paint all of the word or all of the phrase because the ink is going to dry. So, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us to do the mixing of the colors, to do the blending of the grading.
Ingrid,
Yes?
I have a request.
Yes.
Okay, so before you start filling in the colors in these beautiful, letters, uh, can we take a quick mid-roll and we can continue the session after that?
Sorry?
Can we break for like 20-30 seconds and continue the session after that? A quick mid-roll?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a quick mid-roll and then we can continue the session. So, guys, this is an amazing workshop. Ingrid has already written the letters and she will be filling in the colors post this quick mid-roll. I hope you guys are enjoying the session. I would like to give a quick shout out to Print Shop by Designhill, world's leading creative marketplace, for organizing this event. And I hope you guys are taking this event's screenshot and putting your Instagram story, tagging Designhill DS, Typography Designers Club, and Ingrid's Instagram handle. Let's take a quick break and keep this interesting workshop going on. Stay tuned. We will be back to hear more from Ingrid.
I've always been creative and always been an artist. As a young girl, I used to paint rocks and I used to sell them for $0.25 on the street. And I just fell in love with it. It just grew into a passion of mine. I started looking on the web and I came across Designhill, and they had a design contest to design a logo, and I entered it and I won. And I was like, oh, this is really great. I can pick and choose what type of logos or design projects I want to work on, and it allows me to be creative, keep my hands, with my tools and working, so it's kind of nice. It's really easy to use. You can scroll through the projects and there's sections that you could go by. It's really easy. There's a few clients who have come back to use the one-on-one projects. There's one client in particular, she owns a vintage shop, and I designed her logo, and she came back. She needed a design for a flyer, and she really liked the illustrations that I did for her, so she came back a couple of times with projects. I would recommend it, especially if you're a designer that's starting out and you want to learn from other designers, seasoned designers. It's a place to keep in the game. And keep using your tools. It makes me feel great, and it kind of confirms that I should be doing this. And I love to see logos that I've designed out, and proud of that. And I think that the clients are so happy that their logo represents what they do and makes them look good. It's a collaboration. It's good for me, and it's definitely good for them.
All right,
Okay,
and yes, please start. Please continue with the session.
all right. So we're going to start with the C. And now we start with our water brush pen. Try not to get out of the line because this is our guide, right? This is why we trace the phrase with gray color because we want to use as a guide. You can add more color. The good things about these markers, cutting markers, is that you can add color when the surface of the paper is still wet. And the colors are very rich, very vibrant. So I'm pulling the color to dark. If you need to refill, because I don't know, probably you like to work with more water, you can sometimes I just use my jar of water, and also I clean a little bit the marker. When I'm going to switch colors, I clean in a paper towel brush. Probably at the beginning, it's going to take time if this is the first time doing this kind of uh, art creations. I'm going to add a little bit more of water here. Now I'm going to add purple. I just, as I say, I deposit color in the wet surface. And I pull a little bit of color, the purple one, through the blue one. Just a little bit. And it looks very nice. Push, so you can push or pull the color. Remember, the bristles are wet because there's always water in this valve. There's always uh, keep the bristles wet all the time, so you don't have to worry about to do some to leave some marks, dry marks. The paper doesn't need to be wet for you to deposit the color, so you can add the color in a dry surface. If you add more color, it's better because you have more color to play or to the grading. I don't know how many left-handers are in the workshop watching right now. But as I say, doing my lettering took me a lot of time to 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 develop this technique because I use my handwriting. I used to twist my paper like 90 degrees when I do my normal handwriting. So when I started to practice the lettering, I don't know how to write. So I start to uh, twist the paper from one side to another, even the brush pens. And at the end, it works for me leaving the paper straight in front of me. I don't know how, but I did. And sometimes I just turn a little bit, a couple of degrees to the right. So we start again with the blue here. You can see the process. You can add a little bit more blue to your pink. If you don't know how to combine colors, first of all, you use the colors that you want, your favorite colors. We always have favorite colors. My favorite colors are blue. And of course, you can see my logo. If you don't know how to choose colors, when you're going to do some work, you don't know how to combine, you always can use the color wheel. If you don't have the color wheel, we have today a lot of applications. I have an application in my cell phone, so you can do the search, and this is a very nice tool for you, or help us how to create, how to combine colors, what colors we can use, what colors we cannot combine. Now we're going to use the purple. I'm using 3 colors. You can use 1 color. You can use 2 colors. Any color. I'm going to add a little bit more water here because I think it's very dry. What I like about this paper too is because, of course, I practiced before this workshop. It dries fast, and it works for me because I am left-handed, and as a left-handed problems, we used to, damage sometimes our letters if we don't let them dry properly. It happens to me a lot. It happens to me if I am doing some lettering with cutting markers. These markers, if I am using them for lettering, just to write, to create letters, I need to let them dry before I continue. Yeah, it takes me time. Take us time. Letter by letter, as I say, you need to do letter by letter. You need to work fast because we don't want to let this color dry. You can add more color. I've been doing workshops for 2 years now, as I said before. And most of I think I've been doing 14 in beginners lettering workshop. And I'm going to start to do it again, my watercolor lettering. For the bar of the T, I'm going to use another color. The bar, la barra. That's a bit. I'm going to use the blue for the bar at the end. I use the gray color to do base, but if you have any other light color, you can use them. Doesn't affect at all how the colors are going to look at the end. Okay. I'm going to spread a little bit to the eye of the E. And now for the bar of the T, please try not to mix the colors. Gradients and waiting. Here. Oh my god, my hand is shaking. Okay. Now, okay. So, okay. I think I'm going to change my brush, to my normal brush. Why? Because the brush holds more water than this water brush pen, than the aqua brush. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch. You see the difference between the two brushes? This is a size too fine. I just found some, I don't know, school supply or nothing fancy. Just a regular brush pen. Brush, round brush. Okay. Well, you got I did. You can do faster with a regular brush because, as I said, it holds more water in the brushes, in the bristles. Okay, so let's start here. Purple. Oops. I used to twist my hand when I do my lettering as a left-handed. And when I start to watch my videos and I start to see all my maneuvers, because I work maneuvers, I am doing when I do my lettering. I don't even notice until I see the videos. Oops. Yeah. So quiet outside. Very warm day today here. Most of the products I use, I mean, most of them, I just buy them by internet. Here in the island, it's very difficult for us to find good tools, even if now some local department stores and art supplies, they are supplying more brush pens and this kind of lettering tools, but it's very difficult to find. So I buy them by the internet. Amazon takes time for us to arrive. Purple. You can add more, doing this in the wet surface. You can add more color. Even direct to the brush like this. So it's very nice. For any specific detail that you need to add, so you can tap here. Okay. Okay. We start with the puppy. Into this. I just paint just one side of the letter. So you can see there's more lighter right here. It looks very nice. I love it. Very, very nice. Ingrid. You can remove to add some illumination or light areas in your letters. You can remove just to using clear water in your brush and then move, clean the brush, and again, you can do a couple of times, but not like this because you can damage the paper. So doesn't look like it. Again, I'm using Canson paper. One of my favorite, more inexpensive, very accessible, as I said, here in the island or online. If we find any other brand, exclusive brand locally, the cost is very, very high. So this is why we used to, shop online. Even it takes sometimes 3 weeks to a month. Yes, for us to receive. And after the COVID and the hurricane, so it's a little bit difficult to get good materials. When I started to do my business, the first idea was just to offer my services as a calligrapher. And COVID, hit us, I mean, everybody. So it changed the whole concept of my business. Now it's an online business. This is why I create my page. My YouTube channel. Starting to learn a little bit more about apps or videos, how to edit, how to do voiceover. And, I'm just in social media every day. And being in social media is not, when I say being in social media, I mean being scrolling on research and, checking all your accounts all day, answering messages and doing posts, stories. That okay, we're gonna use doing that over the COVID last year. It was one of the reasons that I would say I collaborate. Okay, that's the word. I collaborate with Zebra Pen in USA, doing some unboxing, and they invited me. So you want to collaborate with us in this campaign using these kind of markers? Okay, I will. Let's do it. And that was a great experience for me as an artist in that moment. And I just create this video with using, I did a tutorial using some markers, the Zebra Pen, and You can see the video in YouTube on the Zebra Pen USA um, page. Also in my YouTube channel, I have it, and you can see me with other artists. Yes, using the Zebra Pen, my liner highlighters, and Zebra Pen Sensations brushes. I did a tutorial in English and doing a vertical, very simple uh, vertical using my lettering, my signature lettering. Locally, I just also collaborate in with this company. Is editors, I say editors, book editors company in the launch of this model. So I design with them and I create the bookmarks. That was in 2020. 2020 was uh, very challenge for everybody. I also complete my entrepreneurial classes to complete all the process for my business online, of course. Okay, okay, now almost. Okay, very hard. Oh my God. Yes, indeed. Okay. So this is the final.
Wow, amazing. Can you,
Yes.
Ingrid, can you please pull your camera a little upward so that we can see
Yes,
the
indeed,
complete
I
feedback?
will. Of course, let me remove this because I want you to see all the whole. A little bit further.
Yeah. A little towards the right, a little towards the right.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you please, put the paper horizontally? Yes, a little
Now.
horizontally. Yeah. It's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yes, and now we're going. We don't. Okay, let's tell you. Um, to finish the composition, we are going to add very quickly some doodles that I used to make in my you can see my post in Instagram. I used to decorate around the letters with some hearts and dots and lines. So this is why I add this line like a margin because we are going to use like a rectangle area. Sometimes I use a shape of a circle, of a heart, or square. So we are going to make these doodles inside, and we are going to I'm going to draw them, draw them in these empty spaces. These empty spaces that we call them the negative areas. So we are going to decorate with them. You can trace by pencil first if you want. This is some thin line curves. You see, this is the first one. Here in the corner, we have a nice space from inside out. Inside out. We have this other space here from inside out again. Okay. Right here in the top in the corner. Here. There's another one. Over here, small one. And one more at the bottom, right here. Okay, now we are going to use our fine liner. If you don't have, you can use a pen, or if you are using the Tombow, Tombow has a fine tip. Okay, so I'm going to use my black. Here, one in the corner. Here one. And this one sides. Okay. Now with the same fine liner, I'm going to add more little details in these other areas. I use, I call them petals or drops, flowers. You can use hearts or lines. Because I want to cover the shape. Here. Not too much, not too many doodles, because the focus on any composition is right. I mean, right now is the phrase, is the quote. I'm doing this a little bit fast. And then here in the water. Okay, so this is how this is. I mean,
This is very beautiful.
yes, indeed. And now you need to wait to dry before erase the lines. So if you have time, you can mix shadows, but I'm going to leave that way.
Yeah,
It looks very.
it's very, very beautiful. And the chat box has a lot to say about your creation just now, Ingrid. Everyone is liking it, everyone is loving it. I personally loved it. It was really therapeutic to see it in the making. Can we take a few questions now?
Yes, of course.
All right. So we have a lot of questions about the tools that you have used, but I'm sure that, in your entire video, you have, in detail explained about the brushes and, the tools, the rubber, the pencils that you have used. So I would suggest everyone to, go through the video once again to be able to know more about the tools in question. We will take a few questions. Um, okay. All right. Amethyst is asking how to identify where to make a stronger color over the lighter one. Is it when you're doing in the curve?
How you identify the what?
How to identify where to make a stronger color over the lighter one? Is it when you do the curve?
The darker colors. This is why I recommend this nice tool, the wheel, the wheel of color, because this is it helps you to identify that kind of colors that you, I mean, the darker colors, the lighters, the hue. The hue is when we talk about colors. This is the hue is the the main base of the color, right? So it's a hue, blue hues, um, red hues. So in that hues, in red are orange, are yellow. Even in the blue hues are greens, and some are. If you identify something that is darker, the hue means is the shade is in the base of grays or dark colors, right? I'm trying to explain the easier way. But if you want to light them, just you need to add water, clean water, and you light the colors. I don't recommend to mix complementary colors. What are complementary colors? Complementary colors are colors in the opposite side of the wheel. So, because if you mix that colors, you're going to get darker colors, gray scale colors, or black colors, or too white colors. So, if you're going to mix colors, try to be uh, colors by the side and the wheel. So, no opposite.
All right, amazing. Amethyst, I hope that answers your question. There's another question by Jean. Does it has to be done using watercolor paper, or we can switch it to anything?
Again,
Do we always have to use the watercolor paper, or we can switch it to anything?
yes, I recommend you can use water color paper. As I mentioned at the beginning, I prefer the 140 pounds or 300 grams. If you don't have watercolor paper to do this effect, because we are using water, and when we use water in paper, we need a special paper. If we use water in any other regular paper, we're going to break the paper. So you need to be very careful when you buy the paper. Please check the paper that you're going to need is a watercolor paper, or you can use the other one is mixed media. Mixed media is good for watercolor, but the paper is very thin, so you probably you can use you can you can do this kind of works, but less water, because the paper is very thin in the mixed media. But it
All
works
right,
for mixed media
all
or
right.
watercolor.
Thank you. Next question is by Alessandra. What practices or exercises can you recommend for us to have a light hand and steady brush strokes?
Oh my god. This is when I do my lettering, because it's like a brush, right? I use brush pens. I used to practice every day. The light strokes are the when you don't put pressure, so your hand is very shaky sometimes. So practice and exercises and draw lines in pencil, and try to to follow the lines. And but the thing is, practice every day, and to know your tools. The tools are you using? If you are using water brush pens or any regular brush, as I say, you can draw lines and then paint down little lines, one by one, stroke by stroke. Um, But practice every day is the key for you to succeed in every discipline you're doing. So especially here in art or brushletting.
Amazing. We will take up the last question, which is by Ria. Ria is asking, can we use watercolors instead of brush pens?
Yes, of course. Yes, you can use. I have here my. Let me see. You can use your watercolor pens, tubes, or pens or pencils, watercolor pencils. Of course, you are going to need to prepare them before. So you need to get ready all your colors before you start to paint your letters because you need to work fast. So you need to get ready or choose all the colors you're going to use and prepare all the mix. But yes, you can use. It's excellent also.
Amazing, amazing. All right, Ingrid, and thank you so much for sharing your insights. That actually brings us to the end of this wonderful workshop with Ingrid Rivera. This was indeed a value packed session, although there is a lot more that we could have covered and have learned. Unfortunately, we are limited by time here. I hope each one of you loved this session, and I'm sure you did because I also personally did, like it a lot. Once again, I would like to thank Ingrid for taking out time to be a part of this event. Ingrid, any last thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I want to express my gratitude. I'm so excited. This is, as I say, my very first international English workshop. I hope you understand everything I say. I was so nervous. Spanish is my first language, but I'm a very challenged artist, and I cannot miss this big opportunity to let me know in other places around the world with this great community. And I hope that you enjoy the workshop. And it would be very awesome for me if you follow my pages. Yes, Instagram, Facebook, my YouTube channel, Pinterest, and my webpage even is in Spanish. So, but we have some in English also. So English and Spanish posts and videos and but it would be awesome and thanks again. I hope you
Thank you so
enjoy.
much. Thank you so much, Ingrid. It was lovely having you here. So, guys, now it's time to reveal the secret coupon code. My colleague Robin has already shared the same in the chat section. I would request him to share it once again. The code is PSIN15. It is valid till 7th May 2021. You can go to print shop, Designhill print shop, and buy yourself some goodies. For more detail, kindly also check your email that you will receive right after this session, along with the recording of this session. So, guys, this is not where it ends. We have a lot more events lined up for you in the coming days. If you guys are interested and haven't registered yet, my colleague Robin will be putting up the event section link in the chat box. Please have a look. To watch this session and other such wonderful events, subscribe to our event section, or you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, the link of which will be there in the chat box again. For all business owners who are listening to this and wish to source high quality graphic designs build their brand today, please visit designhill.com without further ado. Also, we have recently launched some cool design challenges which are worth $5,000 per month. In fact, more than that. Any designer, non-designer can be a part of it and create some awesome designs using our DIY design tool called Designhill Studio. Please visit designhill.com/studio/slash challenges to check out more about it. On that note, I would like to say bye to everyone who joined us here today. Take care, guys, and please stay safe.
Bye. Thank you. Gracias.